2018, I guess, is now January is the season of resolutions. Did you guys make any individually?
Well, Brandon did.
Well, you throw me under the bus.
I'm suffering because of it.
Yeah, it's true. It's actually, yeah, he is. Not really suffering though. I mean, you're eating an orange right now. So I had two resolutions. One of them is happening, and the other I completely forgot about, which was to start to journal, because I think that's a really good idea. I see the value in it, and I think I can still do it sometime, even though it's, not the beginning of the year.
What would your journaling voice be, though?
It would be somebody in the background going, doo 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 doo.
Do you think my life is just Doug?
Actually, yeah.
Yeah? Cool.
Like, when I imagine you on a day-to-day basis, I pretty much imagine, like, some Doug shit happening.
Exactly. Anytime you see Anne, you hear, doo 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 doo.
I don't actually remember that well. But
imagine him, like, walking out of work and somebody being like, hey, Phillips!
And it's Ben.
Yeah, I'm basically the Roger in your life. I guess
walk
John's
around
the Skeeter.
putting on your earbuds, jamming to that killer tofu.
You remember that show way better than I do.
I still watch that
really,
show.
Really well.
Oh, you still watch it.
The great thing about hijacking someone's username and password in the family for their cable subscription is that Nicktoons TV is always playing that shit, and that's great.
Interesting.
So the other resolution I had started 4 days ago, which isn't technically, but anyways, is a diet that I'm sure everybody's heard of, or maybe has. It's not new, but it's called Whole30, and it's terrible. It's actually not that bad, but it's very, very restrictive. What you
can't drink, which is the worst part.
Yeah, that's why this podcast sucks, because it's so totally sober.
Yeah. Like, I was thinking, well, I can't bring over beer because Brandon can't drink. I want to be decent.
Yeah.
But,
so, yeah, it's just like basically no sugar, and like nothing that then translates to sugar, like carbs.
You can eat this orange now?
I can eat this orange. I don't know why, but fruit, I mean, it's natural sugar, I guess. But
this is interesting. You're doing the same diet that I've been doing for the past 2 months.
Really?
Yes.
Isn't the Whole30 only supposed to happen for 30 days?
Yeah, and are you trying to undermine my
Also,
woes?
you have definitely been drinking.
Well, to some extent, yeah. I mean, obviously, I'm not doing...
To some extent.
No. Let me rephrase that. I'm obviously I was being hyperbolic. I am not doing the extremities of the 30 diet that you're doing,
like
Brandon.
a paleo thing.
No, I'm just doing a loose, like literally having like almost no sugar outside of just like a gin and tonic.
Still eating McDonald's.
What? No, a gin and tonic a couple of times a week. And that's about it. Like, I'm really low on carbs, but pretty much, yeah. I mean, like, you're definitely doing like way more extreme stuff, but for a shorter amount of time. So it's definitely going to be a shock to your system, which is a good thing.
Yeah, it's just the hardest part is like making sure that you have food available, because like if you don't, you can't really order seamless, because or you can't just get takeout because like it's so strict that like there's basically no restaurant that's gonna fit within the guidelines or whatever. So it's just super restrictive. But like I said, I'm on day 4. It's going all right. Maybe on the next podcast I'll update you and tell you how.
Good for you, Brandon. That's actually pretty cool. That's really cool, actually.
Thanks, John.
Well, thanks a lot, John. But I mean, I texted him like 3 times this week, being like, "Hey, man, you want to meet up for a drink?"
By the way, yeah. For 4 of the 3 days, Ben asked if I could go out for a beer. And I was like, nope, still on the thing.
I keep forgetting, and it keeps ruining my night. So I'm not in support of this, but whatever.
Yeah, and we these tuna cakes, which were good, but
yeah, they were good.
Yeah, I subjected Ben to them.
No, they were good though.
Yeah,
he served them up with little slices of avocado and a little lemon wedge.
Ooh, that sounds delicious.
Yeah, it was nice. He should give you the recipe. He's going to give it to me.
Yeah, please do. That sounds really good.
Oh, well, it's from nomnompaleo.com.
Ooh,
what?
Nom Nom Paleo. That sounds yummy.
You should definitely record that and send it to them and charge them lots of money.
Ben, do you have did you have any resolutions?
Not really. This is the first year in a while that I haven't even thought about it. I did at the top of the year stop eating sweets, which is weird. It's interesting. I mean, for anybody looking to do something pretty low impact, but really effective, you will never realize just how much sweets like hijack your life until you stop eating them. It's kind of crazy. Like, I don't eat as much after 9:00 p.m. now, and I didn't realize how many, like how often it was just like cookies or like cakes or just like cinnamon rolls that I was like, I'm gonna take this home. I'm gonna eat this shit at like 10 o'clock tonight.
A good idea.
Yeah, this is a great idea.
This sounds like the mentality of my 3-year-old daughters right now. I want cookies.
Well,
I want cake.
That's how I know that if you fed your 3-year-old daughter's ribs, they would fall asleep real quick. You don't take parenting advice from me, I understand. But you're going to wish you had one day.
Well, I mean, that's still a pretty big change.
Well, yeah, because, I mean, for anybody who knows me, they know that I do not deprive myself of things that I want. Basically, if I want, like, whatever's in front of me, I just eat it. Or I never hesitate to have dessert if I want it. I mean, we were just talking about ribs. I ate ribs like 4 or 5 times while I was home on Christmas break. Because every house that I went to, people were making fucking ribs, and I'm not going to say no to ribs ever. So I don't like to deprive myself of things. I think it's stupid and life's too short. But I did stop with the sweets because I don't know. There comes, I guess, a point where it's like, this is too much.
There comes a point in every man's life
where he's got to look and be like, put the cookie down.
That's too sweet.
This is just, there's too much sugar in my life. I'm not trying to be a diabetic or anything.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, and I agree with the life's too short mentality for the most part. Like, I love butter, and after this 30 days, I will be back on that shit. But at the same time, like, the thing that gets you through this is that it's 30 days and like that's fine.
Yeah.
You know, like it's going to suck for a little bit, but it'll be all right. How long are you doing the no sugar thing?
I don't have a limit. I just stopped doing it. So I think I'm going to start doing it again when I get to the point that I'm not craving it.
Yeah.
I did this once when I was a sophomore in college. I stopped eating desserts. And it got to the point where I would see, you know, like a cake at a supermarket, or I would see Starburst or something, and the thought of eating it didn't appeal to me because I still like sweet things, but there was a certain limit that I didn't want to go over. It was just unappealing. Just sugar on top of sugar on top of sugar.
Yeah.
I think I want to get to that point again and try to stay at that point where I just don't go over a certain amount of sugar.
Yeah, I've heard that it's 3 weeks, that like once you cut something out for 3 weeks, it becomes like a lot easier.
Yeah.
Well, yeah,
like a
just
lifestyle.
Exponentially easier to.
I heard the same thing, but 3 months.
What?
3 months?
Yeah, I don't know why. I keep hearing 3 months.
Ugh. Well, I'm not doing this for 3 months. So that's out. But I mean, I'm doing it for at least 3 weeks. I mean, hopefully this will just be a lifestyle change, really.
Nice.
Yeah. So, I mean, there's that. And I think resolution-wise, I do want to find some sort of fitness regimen of some kind. Whether it's, I mean, there's a jiu-jitsu place that's not too far from me that's donation-based that I may try to go to because martial arts in the city is really expensive. Whether it's boxing, kickboxing, whatever, it's all very expensive. So knowing that there's a donation-based place is pretty cool, and I would like to do something like that instead of just going to a gym. But if I have to go to a gym, I will.
You also have one of those Blink gyms around. They're like $10 a month or something crazy like that.
Where is that?
For all of you who live in Brooklyn, it's I think it's on Fulton between like New York and Nostrand Avenue or something, but it's in our neighborhood.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, something like that would be really cool too. So yeah, I want to do some sort of fitness thing. I'm working with the sweets, and yeah, professionally, I would like to have 2 plays produced this year.
That's a good goal.
Nice. Very good goal.
We will see how that goes. It's difficult. It's very difficult to produce a play, but I'm working on some people. I'm trying to get some producers into the game and get some work done.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, those are very good goals.
How about you, John? What are you doing?
Okay, so I've never done the resolution thing prior to this year.
All right, so
Isn't
I
your
guess that's
resolution to have
I
a
guess that's it.
resolution?
That's
No,
the
no,
whole
no, no, no,
conversation
no, no,
then.
no. See, I've never done it, and then I decided to do it this year. The thing is, it feels like whatever resolution backup I've had over the past 31 years.
Are you doing like 30 resolutions?
Well, it's not really a lot of resolutions per se.
John,
It's-
just tell us what you're doing.
So I started doing this thing, and Ben, I'm gonna actually give the credit to you about this. So
What?
I got a planner, which I've never had prior to this time, and ever since I got the planner, I started going through and making it a point to make sure that I do one creative project completed per month, and I break those down into 3 things to do every week that will help me get to that one project. And it's actually helped a lot. I'm writing a feature film script now. I started recording and mixing a new album due to this. And also it's
Heard it here first.
Okay.
and and also due to this planning, I'm actually going to the gym again because there was so much more space during the day-to-day portions of the planner that I had to fill it with something. So I just started filling it with gym routines, and I started going to the gym 4 times a week at least. And it's really paying off. Not just, obviously physically, and I'm eating better also because of it. Because, like, I don't know if you know this, but when you go to the gym, it fucking dehydrates you, like, to the point where you have to drink a lot of water. And when you do that, then you're just not as hungry. And, for some reason, I've just kind of lost the taste for anything really gross. And I'm leaning a lot more to plant-based diets. Not that I'm cutting out meat. I can't. I fucking love meat. But, like, outside of just, decent proportions of meat, I haven't really been eating a lot of carbs because I haven't been craving any of it. It's been a lot of vegetables and fruit.
So you're like the opposite of mine because this is just like meat just all the time.
No. I'm still eating meat. I'm just cutting out bread. Like, and I'm not even purposely really doing it. I'm just not craving it.
How long have you been doing it? Because I've been doing it for 4 days, and I already feel like I have way more energy on a day-to-day basis.
Yeah, I mean,
for the past 2 days.
To be honest with you, Meg and I have been doing the just some form of low carb dieting off and on, like ever since we've been married. But like as far as like sticking to it, it's been a couple of months now, like 2 to 3 months. And yeah, I mean, ever since October, I've lost a lot of weight, but like about 15 pounds. Getting this planner, for some reason, it's just so fucking revitalizing to see everything you want to do on paper in front of you. And it makes them seem really attainable, and it motivates the hell out of you to do them. So you start like saying like, well, yeah, I'm going to finish this project, but wait, I can do more projects. And
That's why I do that shit.
But like, it's like, I'm noticing like my fitness goals are being met, my creative projects are being met. My professional stuff is doing. I'm even getting like housework done, like laundry, and like I never do that shit like on time. It's always like a heaping pile of laundry mountain that I have to do on a weekly basis for myself, my wife, and my daughters. I'm cooking way more because I have a place to write down a grocery list and things that we're out of. So
I'm actually thinking about John's next album right now. It'll be called Laundry Mountain. And we'll cut a promo where he's like in the laundry room and he's just like standing there. He's dressed all rugged like Justin Timberlake. There's like, you can hear like a bird in the background. Like, yeah, a lot of people think that I'm just a city kid. I spend all my time wandering these city streets. But at heart, the real me is from Laundry Mountain. And you show like a giant ass pile of underwear. And your wife's like yelling at you when your kids are crying because nobody's got clean clothes.
And then when it actually comes to release day, I'm like, no, Laundry Mountains is the name of the cologne. The actual name of the...
Why is this happening so much? Oh man, are there other albums that we can like question whether they were actually meant for colognes?
Probably.
I mean, it probably is the whole thing about, it probably is
What was
the entire
Kendrick's last
discography.
album?
Damn.
Damn.
Yeah, I don't think anybody's gonna name a cologne Damn.
I think Kendrick Lamar would name a cologne Damn.
What would it smell like though?
I
Probably
mean,
smell like Compton.
getting some structure. I think it's not like the planner is basically just any type of structure. It's just so helpful to see something kind of tangible. As
Are you
far as
writing
what you want
lists,
to
or
do.
are you like scheduling, or both?
Both. Like every night before I go to bed, I take out my planner and I look at what I need to get done for the next day. That includes like a workout routine, any shit that I need to. Also, whatever that'll help complete the tasks that I have set for the end of the week or the end of the month. And it's just it helps so much. And I can't believe I didn't do this earlier.
I
And
can.
Shut the fuck up. All right, so
Late. Will you do all of us a favor then, and the people listening, for our Patreon supporters, will you write just like a journal entry or something for the Patreon just about this process? Because I think it could be really cool, and I feel like people. I know a lot of people start off the year. I know one woman that I know is doing a new experience every day. So she's trying something new every single day this year. A new creative project every month could be something that a lot of people could get behind, and I think that would be really, really helpful. So we're gonna task you to it.
sure, sounds good. I'll keep you guys updated, and just to I guess spell it on the podcast. This month's creative project is finish recording all the songs for the album that I will probably drop 3 years from now, because that's how this shit generally works. But I don't know, maybe now that I have a planner, it might actually get done this year, or be released this year at some point.
I mean, you've been working really hard on it. You've been getting the initial mixes of these songs out and these collaborations done really quickly.
Yeah, it's interesting because I'm collaborating with a lot of artists that I've not collaborated with before. None of their styles either that I've ever really thought would mesh well with mine, and they have. Surprisingly, it just depends on the song that I'm sending them, and they really dig them, and they kind of do a different version of their own sound too, and it's really cool. I'm excited to hear the final product at the end of this month.
Yeah, totally. Me too.
So now that we've done the individual resolutions, I think we probably need a couple of resolutions or goals for Full Metal Workshop as a company.
Yeah, the moment of truth. We're all like, yeah. Because we know, I mean, we're like this because we know that we didn't perform the way that we wanted to after starting this company. We had a lot of momentum, and last year we all kind of got pulled in separate directions. We all ended up working on individual projects or got pulled in to work a lot or things like that. So we didn't get to pay attention to things that we wanted to pay attention to in our own house.
That's true. Our patrons and our followers are probably looking at us very shamefully, and we're like, we didn't perform right, but this has never happened before.
But yeah, it's embarrassing. But so now is our moment of truth. Should we do like each of us throw out one resolution for the company that we have to stick to that's public and everybody has heard it now, or are we just gonna? How long should this list be?
I mean, I think we should just all start listing a couple of things, and then probably making three solid ones.
Yeah,
right.
so let's do one per person.
Okay.
You go first.
Oh, me?
He was just talking to literally anybody but himself.
I'm trying to.
You go first. Yes, you.
Well, first of all, I think our resolution should be that we get a sponsorship from Dippin' Dots. But
Dippin' Dots ain't got that kind of money.
no, motherfucker, we ain't got
But
that
they
kind of
also
money.
don't have anywhere to promote their stuff. Like they would, if like we offered it, they would be like, "How many listeners do you have?" Like, I don't know, like 10. They'd be like, "Great."
Tell them
We'll
it's the
take
ice
it.
cream of the future. That tends to work really well.
Yeah, we've been going with that one for a long time now.
I think one of the goals that I think we should do as a company is maybe particularly from my end is really establish our audio stuff. So definitely by the middle of this year, I think we should have at least 3 episodes of Abani wrapped.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah. What about, would you include like getting an episode or 2 or 3, depending on if we can even get the money, of Kepler's Arc?
Yeah, for sure. Definitely.
How many? Let's try to be specific. We have 2 of them released that we should probably go back and re-release them. So I guess I should say re-establishing Kepler's Arc, because we'll have to re-release them probably under our name.
Mm-hmm.
And then release the next, I would say up to 5 episodes.
Well, how many do we have recorded so far?
We have 9 recorded.
Okay, and they're all mixed?
No, that's the
not
problem.
mixed,
Is,
and there's
is
no
they
Foley.
need to be mixed.
Okay, how many do we have mixed?
The only ones
Those
that are
2.
released. Yeah.
The third one has been mixed pretty well. It needs to be re-edited a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Another problem with that is, get ready for it, they were recorded in Pro Tools.
Okay, so
We gotta figure out a solution for that. That's not a resolution. We should just do that.
Yeah, we're just gonna have to find a way to get. Pro Tools is a pain in the ass. You have to get that like thumb drive that you have to buy from like another company just to run Pro Tools on your computer.
Mm-hmm.
It's really irritating.
So I'm going to leave the Kepler's Arc resolution specifications to Brandon.
But you're like, I'm just gonna
the
pass the buck on that.
specifications and what do you mean? Like
Like-
how much we're gonna do?
Yeah, what do you think is a reasonable thing that we can get done and will, or should and will get done, let's say by the middle of the year?
I mean, let's go for 2. You know, I mean, we'll do them like kind of quarterly. You know.
Okay.
So we'll go two per half year if we can.
Okay.
Okay, so episodes 3 and 4 before the end of the year, and then when we re-release, we can have 4 episodes, possibly 5 if we manage to bring someone on board who can edit them.
I think that's a good way to go. Brandon, did you? I didn't mean to hijack yours. Did you happen to have one outside of that?
Yeah. So Ben and I were talking before the podcast about the possibility of pairing the podcast with a newsletter, which would also pair with our website. I mean, it's kind of already set up that way to a degree. So the idea would be that we would. I don't really know exactly what the idea is. We'd have to talk about it, but find links that are relevant to parts of the conversation that we're having in the podcast, maybe, or scripting out some of the podcast. Not scripting it out. What's the word I'm looking for? Transposing it.
Writing
transcripting.
Yeah,
Yes, thank you. Maybe
transwriting.
Maybe transcribing. That's it. Right?
Yeah,
that's the word. Jesus. Maybe some of that. Maybe just finding relevant, articles to go along with it or whatever, and sending out a newsletter from Full Metal, but maybe Full Metal with Color Correspondence is the title of the newsletter. I don't know. So that we can potentially monetize it and maybe sell ads, for the newsletter and see if we can get some funding that way.
Yeah, and also just to make it a more immersive experience. So
Yeah.
we'll send this newsletter, weekly?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, that's what we're on target for, right, John? To get one of these out a week.
And so if we have a weekly newsletter too, it can cover a lot of the things that we think our listeners and fans of Full Metal would be interested in, the base that we're trying to reach. And then on top of that, we'll have the podcast that'll tie into all these things. And yeah, just be a nice, fully immersive experience for us. The Color Correspondence newsletter.
All right.
And
So
what about you, Ben?
All right. Oh, is there anything for Open Story?
Oh yeah. I'm actually.
He's like, oh yeah, nope, I quit.
No, yeah. This podcast hasn't been about business development specifically in a while because, as we just said, we've kind of been out of it for a little bit. But to sort of bring it back to that one thing, I have a meeting set up with somebody who I've done freelance work for that has some pretty good contacts as people with money. So I'm going to talk to him about the potential of getting Open Story funded so that we can actually have a little bit of money behind it to spend some time to work on it. I don't want to say yet that that's a resolution, but it's definitely going to be something that's on the table for 2018.
Yeah.
Cool. Open Story is definitely I feel like it's our diamond in the rough.
I know.
Because it's such a good app. Not even just conceptually, even now it's still a good app. Conceptually, it can be a phenomenal app.
Yeah.
Which it will. So it'll be interesting to see where that goes.
You just got to get paid. But that's part of it.
For me, well, it could be anything. I mean, to go along with yours, keep up with Abani and get, because I have to write those things. So get those out. I would like to. I mean, if we're really trying to hit these goals, I want to get the first episode of Abani out before the end of January. I want this to be a good January for us, so I want to have The Actress and Abani both out before the end of the month, just to whet people's palates and get some eyes on us. Let's see. Beyond that, there's not a lot of new IPs that I want to throw out right now, just because we need to catch up with the ones that we have. I will say that one of my resolutions for this year is definitely going to be to keep up with Patreon better. That's just a tough one. And I want to be able to keep up with Patreons, engage better with our patrons, and maybe keep up a little bit more with our social media presence.
The newsletter thing may actually help with that too. I mean, maybe we have kind of a release schedule or something so that we give it to Patreon first.
Yeah, but also just making sure that there is exclusive content for them as well.
Sure.
Not just first access, but things for Patreon listeners specifically, just to really push the benefits of being a supporter of Full Metal. On top of that, our first, we talked last year about doing live events. Mm-hmm. It would be very cool to have I guess our first live event was technically last year, but getting another one of those out, whether it's associated with a podcast, like a live recording that people can show up to, or just a party or something. But it would be cool to have a nice live event where people can come out and we can, shoot the shit with people who are like-minded and fun and, share the same goals maybe. Like the same stuff. I think those are some things that I think would be really good for us, just as far as, keeping our house clean and keeping things firing on all levels. But and I know it's super ambitious to be like, hey, let's get a Bonnie done this month. But I mean, John, you've done production on most of it already.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, it's really just getting the voices, getting the music. And seriously, a lot of that is on me. And because I know that a lot of that depends on me, that means that I just have to buckle down and do it.
Yeah, John, you did the score for The Actress in an hour?
It took a couple of days, whenever we started, but as far as the editing goes, today, it took about an hour.
Yeah, so, and Abani's such a cool idea, and the things that we have planned for it are so great. I don't want to let that be held back simply by inaction or lack of an ability to find a space to record in. We should be able to just buckle down and do it. So our fans want it. We want to do it. It should get done.
And we will.
Yeah. So those are our resolutions. I've written them all down, and we're going to stick to them.
Color Correspondence was produced by Jonah Q with music also by Jonah Q. This is a Full Metal Workshop podcast. If you like it, please subscribe. For more info on Full Metal, you can visit fullmetalworkshop.com, find us on Facebook or on Instagram at Full Metal Workshop.